Can you hear me now? You guys have sound? Tammy, can you hear me? Hi, Debbie. Hi, Jeanette. Oh, good. Good. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why that was. But enough of you were saying you couldn't even hear me. All right, I'll just wait for one or two more people to join back in here. Okay, so look at that. Look at that, Shiloh. Hi, Shiloh. Mommy's going to have to wash your paws now. Yep. All right, so this is kind of what I'm using as my base drawing, showing where the stone walls are, the thick stone walls. The addition is back here, just in light pencil with some other ideas over. I'm kind of notorious. There'll be layers and layers and layers of drawings, and sometimes I'm the only one knows what the lines mean. But yeah, so currently this is the front door, is in here, and this is that patio area with the bathroom above. And this isn't where the stones actually are. There's a door here, and there's a window here, and there's currently stone along this little bit. This is a variation I was playing with, and then there's stone connecting these walls here. So the perimeter does this little zigzag on the first floor. And this is kitchen in here. This is the door to what we call the dog room that has the little bathroom over here, Powder. This is the door to what is Hannah's room. There's no opening here, and this is an exterior window. So if you look at the layer underneath, I don't know if you can see it. There you can kind of see from underneath, that's the toilet. There's a sink here. The wall's actually shorter. It goes along here. This is the current wall. In this variation, I was looking at playing with moving that wall over and pushing it out. And then you can see underneath. So Hannah's room, it came this way and then it came down like that. And so that's that exterior window. So there is no fireplace anywhere in this setup here. So initially I had some ideas about what I might want to do, and then looked at which included doing making a, I don't know what to call it, like almost like a atrium or all glass bedroom off of this way, like a master suite off this way, looking toward the woods where the pigs are. And then this wall would all be exposed stone, and then the roof would kind of come off at an angle and down with lots of glass. And then, can't remember, but I think there was going to be more of like a living space off here, and then a bedroom. And then we kind of explored a different plan where you can kind of see that this whole thing got bumped out, and it was basically going to be almost like a glass box, and pull the staircase out here to open all this up, because currently the staircase is here and it chops up the space quite a bit. So we looked at staircase here. Can I rearrange your 800 square foot house? I bet I can. And the Bilco doors are right here. So the latest version Yeah, see, a cold room with the glass. But it's an entry foyer and a staircase, and it would, Hannah, like, have a, what do you call it? It's really a transitional space, and then the nice thing is we could utilize this to connect any mechanical, and we thought maybe we'd do a bedroom, like a master bedroom and an office off this way, because the views of the property are all that way. So if my desk was the farm, you come off this way, shed. Their pool is here, the garden is here, and the goat tents were here and beyond. And so one of the things that's disappointing about the existing house is, first of all, the house sits like this, tilted on the land. It's not like it's perpendicular with views out that way. The views are really that way. And then you'll see here, there's a window here, a doorway here, a doorway here. And that means from this point to this point, all those views are blocked off. And that's no good, right? Not when you appreciate the land. So that's why our latest plus being here in the actual cold, we had thought we would make maybe this kitchen out this way, garage here with a connecting, and then the master bedroom here that would connect to the house this way. And Mark really likes that idea, and I do too. And then we would, for this space that's the living room, we would lose the second floor and just have a loft, and then in the attic space make 2 more bedrooms that way. But yes, the card you sent. Yeah, isn't this pretty? The butterfly card and some stamps, so I can mail the wallpaper sample that's been all the way to Texas and back. And then when I got back from Texas, I didn't want to bring it in the house till our second bug treatment. So it's sitting in the car, my suitcases. But so in about an hour or two, I can finally, so we're talking about adding on. So things that I value is in a home are views. I'm kind of notorious for never having enough walls to hang decorations on, which is fine with me because I don't usually put a lot of decorations up, except at Christmas time. Yeah, the wallpaper. And then the views and ceiling heights. I'm very sensitive, get really claustrophobic with low ceilings and that sort of thing. And so that's been one of my obstacles. So the latest variation of it would be, and now you can't see because I've got my drafting bar here, but so here's the front porch. If you go out about 7 to 10 feet and then over about 7 feet, right there is that old well. And so anything that I put out here, I want to preserve, ideally I want to preserve that old well. So then one of the things we thought is that sometimes, and it depends on, there's so many variables. I wonder, how does anybody ever budget with all these variables? But I had thought maybe it would be more affordable to whatever we build as an add-on, since since the house is up at one height and then it kind of slopes away toward the farm a bit, that maybe I would make a nice living room, kitchen, dining room up here and change it so that instead of accessing the property over this way, super, super far and high, since we think we're only allowed one driveway, that we would do more of a central access, and you could go this way and circle around at the front of the house, or you could actually go around this way and park into the garage this way so that the living room was up high. And I think I really like that idea, because then that puts the living room, well, there's power poles here, so I have to keep it more toward the front, but that puts the living room here. And like I said, that means all of the views would be able to be enjoyed from the living room, which would be really nice. It also means that, I think I mentioned that the Bilco doors are here. So in the basement level, then you could have direct access to the existing basement from the garage. And just mechanically speaking, that would be a dream to be able to, have certain things tie in where it makes sense. Currently, the electrical panels in the basement, way over in this corner, which the well is here, and there's just water and electrical in the same, county over there, and that, I don't like that. So my thought was, since there's a power line running this way, and currently the power swoops down and then goes down to the basement here, it would tie in much closer into the garage, and then we could get a nice clean panel here or two, and then have one run to the old house and then a run here. But like I said, that's ideas that aren't even on paper yet. So that's how far we are from any major, actually starting construction. And so I'm really using my time to walk around. There's an old tree here that we need to have an arborist come and see if it's safe. It lost a branch and it has some hollowness in it, and I need to make sure that's not going to fall over and hit the old stone. It is. That's why we wouldn't really move that electrical box very far. I might just move it a little here. You got to remember that this old house, portions of it have new electrical, but huge portions have no new electrical, and I'm going to be running new electrical anyway. And I have a friend who's an electrician, so I'm hoping that with enough money and kindness and help from me, he'd be able to help us keep this kind of thing in budget. Yes. Okay. So then that's it. So from the fish pond, I don't know if you could remember Lauren sometimes peeking out of a little window here. The fish are in the cistern, which is right here. And nothing is parallel to anything else. So even the cistern is not parallel to the house. But with this here, one of the things that I like the idea of is if there's a deck off of this, that there would be some sort of a deck or a walkway that then would wrap the cistern, and we build the sides of the cistern up and then maintain that. Obviously, it won't have the Steinmetz koi in it, but we still love it, and I'd love to keep some of these original features in the home. And so when I mentioned the well over here, there'd be a staircase from the living room or living space up here to get to the second floor, and then in the basement level it would just direct connect. So that'll mean that there's no air connection between the old basement and the house. That will be sealed up. And then the living room would run this way, and then it would wrap a little bit, so probably like kitchen here and maybe some dining room, and then having it wrap, it would actually wrap the old well could stay there, and it would just be part of the front landscape and tied in. So anyway, so definitely very, very early on in the plans. So in the meantime, I'm also trying to see what can be done. See, here we go. if we did that plan, then something like this, there we go. This would be the second floor, where you would come in, and then you would enter just a loft, and there'd be a railing, and it would all just look down into the living room. This was the first version, down living room below, and then I would shift the stairs just a little bit, so you would come up, and then we could do a couple bedrooms up here too. So that was some of that idea. And then playing with layouts on the third floor, so then once you came up those stairs, maybe do bedroom with some sort of a bathroom in between, and then mechanical access. All this would stay mechanical. Yeah, you can see I go through. Here's another version where we kind of kept the same footprint that they had on the second floor and just brought it up to the top floor. Came up the stairs here, wrapped a bathroom in the corner here, and mechanical. Lots of variations. So, and like anybody, we gotta consider cost and how long it would take, and how we'd break up break up the workload into some phases. So, one of the things that in the short term, at least in the kitchen, so that we can at least be somewhat comfortable while we're doing this, is removing that corner sink. It has a radiator behind it, and I have found that it really it's totally ineffective being behind the appliances anyway. So I'll probably tie that off, and then just relay out that little tiny bit of wall with some inexpensive cabinets. Just get a couple drawers in here, a little sink base, and then a place for the dishwasher, and then just do some open shelves and call it a day. And that would maybe buy us, a year or two. Yeah, because we've got to get permits, and then how long ever it takes us to design it, and then make sure we have the resources. It'll be a long journey, but the intermediate journey will be just to try to get us so that we can function and do our jobs and enjoy what we have. And this is probably one of my next steps. Once we actually own it, I'll probably be getting this set up here so that it can work. And I want to have maybe have an engineer out, see what can be done, what our options are to get the floors level. I know, look at this. Normally, if this was my finished house, this would drive me absolutely nuts. But when I see this, I think of all those cute little baby goats. And I don't know if you knew this, but their sofa used to be here back in the very, very early days. And they had that wire fence along here. Oops, I bumped the cord. Sorry, guys. And all their little milk bottles were all along here. So there used to be a whole line of little baby goats with their tails wagging. Yeah. So when I see this, it doesn't distress me. Haha, no pun intended, because the floors are very distressed. I actually think about those little baby goats, so it doesn't bug me. Now, is it how I want to live long term? Absolutely not. Do not mistake that for that. But in the meantime, at least, I've bleached the heck out of this, so there's no goat potty smell or anything like that. It's just ugly. But they were so cute. Hopping and jumping and create chaos in this corner. And I believe that this is the little window that he had made a ramp for a while. He put a playpen out there, and they had a little ramp, and they would go out there. And I remember the day that they cleaned all this up, and I was helping Lauren, and we were like sucking up hay and trying to pick out all kinds of goat debris from behind that radiator. So even though, you know, I've only been here a little while, I have lots of memories inside this. Yes, we probably could. Oh, I see your comment, Debbie. Yeah, the other thing is, I would say, so that's the third thing, the views, the ceiling height, and level floors. Level floors are a very big deal. So we have no business buying a house that, you know, I couldn't tell you how much higher that side of the room is than this side. The whole thing's kind of falling toward the farm. But so we want to have some engineers and see, is there a, you know, like how many thousands or tens of thousands of dollars is it to have the house, the whole foundation and everything just set right again and maybe reinforced. So there's lots of information that we don't have. But now that the pest control issue is done, we can at least bring in a few things so we have some place to sit. Yeah, definitely bittersweet. Yeah, I have those other memories too. Yeah, split pea. Yeah, that's one. That's one I usually don't try to focus on. I try to focus on, well, that, and then right along these boards right here, they would hop and twist, and they were so stinking cute. Oh my goodness sakes. Yeah, I think the fact that there's so, like, this house is like an abyss of work. And of course, it depends on what someone wants to do with it, you know. Will I hire contractors? Yes, I will be hiring, but I don't know. I probably won't hire a general, just because I have a pretty broad base knowledge myself. I've done renovations myself. It'll probably be more like, well, instead of, you know, like inspections, I don't know, whatever city you're in, having different inspections at, you know, foundation and all your rough plumbing and electrical, I mean, for the foundation, and then your framing inspection, yada, yada. We'll probably have a whole lot more phases of construction, because we're just going to break it up more into smaller bites. So, and that's why we were, when I talked a little bit about, you know, the different variations of what we might do, is if we did an addition, then we would pretty much be living in this while that addition's happening, and then be living in an addition while this is happening. Another one we had is where we had just like a single story addition on this side for a bedroom and the garage over here. But I don't know. We'll see it. Yeah. We'll see what happens, but we'll have to make it livable at some point. So there'll be some intermediary construction that's not intended to go long term, like this little kitchen thing going on over here. It'd be hardly anything for just those two little drawer cabinets and a countertop, and then at least it's, you know, it's clean and functioning. Oh yeah, and Justin knows people and is a wealth of knowledge. You're absolutely right, Melinda. Yeah, another thing is upstairs, the bathroom that's upstairs, we think we might just put in a cheap, and when I say cheap, I mean like just a prefab tub shower thing, into what we call the dog room off that direction. and pretty much abandon and go ahead and tie off that entire upstairs bathroom. Just because, I don't know, it just doesn't seem that safe to us. And I like to take a bath, and takes a lot of restraint for me to not fill that bathtub with water and want to soak once I've worked my butt off. And it'd be pretty easy peasy because of just see, I'm tethered to the wall because of my battery here. Yeah, it's down to 3%, so that's why I have to stay connected, guys. But let's see if I can find it in one of these layers. Yeah, so here you can see me just playing around here. That toilet's sitting right there, and across from it's a little tiny sink. So I might just move the sink over to here and then just drop in the little tub. And then frankly, use a shower curtain. I mean, it's temporary, so it doesn't need to be finished. It just needs to function and not be expensive. Yeah, the upstairs bathroom. You know, everything's just, it's old from different eras of construction. So, yeah, I mean, and that tub is so heavy. It's cast iron, right? So, but there's no way to get it out of there except when we demo that space to just have it come down with everything else. Caution tape across the tub. Well, okay, so it's easy. So here's what I do is I don't have any way to plug it. I intentionally didn't put any kind of a plunger, or not a plunger, but a little stopper or anything. So even if I wanted to, yeah, I don't. I remove temptation to add to the weight up there. But well, anyway, I'm kind of rambling now, and I don't want to bore you guys. But I thought I would at least go live and let you see some of what I see, and then as we open up, because once we close on it, once we sell our place and close on it, then I can open up more, and yeah, hot tub time. Seriously. Well, that's what I think would be spectacular if we did a living room off the garage, is then above the garage would be a deck that would go out, and then it could be just a nice place to hang out. Lounge chairs with the views. And if you've ever been on the property and been out at the pool, and they built that nice deck area along that surrounded the pool, it'd be kind of like that, but you'd probably be another 4 or 5 feet up in the air, and then 20 feet back further. Your view, you'd be backed up further away from like the woods and stuff like that. So no, we haven't had any offers on our house. Today is where we are finishing all the paperwork on it, and it's supposed to go live on the market tonight or tomorrow, one of the two. But the pictures got done. I haven't seen them yet. I talked to the real estate agent right before I went live, and so we're we're waiting, but it looks like we're about there, and I hope it sells. I mean, everybody hope it sells pretty quickly, but for us, it's a little like ripping off a Band-Aid, and we're not physically there. So the less time it's on the market unattended, the best, the better. Yeah. So there's just, I just have to rope myself in because, this is a pretty blank canvas, and my mind can kind of, leave the planet. I get lost in thought, and I get pretty steeped in my imagination about what I might see, you know, because the version where we put the garage out that direction, because just out, I wouldn't want to cut off windows here, so I had the connection to the garage over there, and I was making this like an exterior alcove with like a really pretty little garden and maybe some wall, something on the back side of the garage. So yeah, are we keeping the pool? We are in the short term, because if we can get that leak repaired and learn how to take care of it, I think we would get a lot of pleasure out of it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long term. It would just depend on, you know, us figuring out what the cost of upkeep is, and but no, I think it's lovely, especially in the summer in the heat. Some place to go cool off. Yeah, I think it'd be really nice. So let's see. There we go. All right, there I am. Anyway. So thanks guys for joining me, and that's my little update. Fixing up on the farmhouse isn't very exciting right now. It's all plans and ideas and daydreaming. But maybe one of the times when Mark's around. Plus, it's hard for me to actually physically do something and hold the camera. As far as I'm concerned, Justin is a genius at his ability to actually do stuff while he works. I don't know if I could do that very well. So, and plus, you know, Mark, he's Mark, so Mr. Sarcasm, Mr. Sometimes Not Appropriate Humor. At least he keeps things more interesting, and he holds the camera most of the time on the subject, not all the time, but anyway, most of the time. Anyway, so I hope you all are having a great week. I'm really glad it's Thursday, and I'll just go ahead and say goodbye now. Bye, guys. Look forward to talking to you again. Bye.